Joining us now to discuss, CNN political and global affairs analyst باراك رافيد. He's also a political reporter for Axios. Barak, why is this ceasefire confusion, in your view, possibly strategic by Netanyahu?
I think Netanyahu right now is in a situation that he did not want to be in, meaning he got to this situation because the members of his own war cabinet and his own security chiefs, the people he appointed, sort of united against him within the cabinet to say, we need this deal and we need this proposal. And he had no choice but to endorse this proposal, to bring it to a vote. It passed unanimously in the war cabinet. He approved it, and it was delivered to Hamas. And now if Hamas says yes, he is in a really big problem, because he will really have to decide something he tried to prevent, to avoid for some time now.
Biden said if Hamas does come to negotiate a deal, Israel has to be flexible enough to close that deal. Is a deal possible, you think?
I think it is. I think it is. And when you look at the Hamas proposal from May 6th, and you look at the Israeli proposal from May 27th, you see that the changes are really not that big. There is still a big issue of how you interpret the same language, okay? Hamas interprets it as, when this is implemented, the war will end. Israel interprets it in a way that says, well, we still have an exit point at a certain time if we want to resume the war. And I think this is the main sticking point. And this is why this proposal, this Israeli proposal, was drafted with this ambiguity to allow both sides to at least get into the deal, get into phase one, and decide later whether they want to continue or they want to, stop the deal and, in the middle.
So on day 16 in this proposal, Israel and Hamas are supposed to start ceasefire negotiations. Netanyahu has repeatedly said Israel's not going to start those discussions until Hamas is wiped out. Now, you're hearing from your sources that the main part of the Rafah operation is over. So how much more fighting does Israel believe it still needs to do?
If you ask people in the IDF, they will tell you that it doesn't even matter, meaning the IDF leadership, the Shin Bet, the Israeli domestic security service, the Mossad, all the security services say it is worth stopping now, okay, in order to get the hostages back. And maybe down the road, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, Hamas will give Israel a reason, or it will violate the deal, or it will attack again, or anything, and will give Israel the reason or the pretext or the justification to go back into Gaza and to finish off Hamas. And all of the security service tell Netanyahu it is more urgent to bring the hostages back right now than to destroy Hamas.
The Times of Israel's David Horowitz points out that Israel's deal, quote, requires Hamas to consent to its own effective demise, and why, one must ask, would Hamas agree to do that, unquote. Does Hamas think it can reach a ceasefire and still eventually rebuild its terrorist ranks and continue to govern such as it did Gaza?
I think it depends who you ask inside Hamas. Some people inside Hamas have been telling Yahya Sinwar, Hamas leader in Gaza, that once you go into such a temporary ceasefire, that at least on phase one, we're talking about 42 days. That's a lot. The previous ceasefire was only 7 days. Now we're talking about 42 days. So once you're in it, it is very hard for Israel to go back to fighting. And there's a very good chance that this will continue. And when you continue for another 42 days, if stage 2 of the deal is implemented, then you are really in a different world. And then it is hard to see how this war resumes.
Barak Ravid, thank you so much for your excellent reporting, as always.